Greenland kayaker. He's a Greenland sea kayaker. He's done a lot of his research. I actually have a list of cool rolls that he's about to do. What you just saw there was my instructionary roll, but he's getting his Greenland paddle out. So Greenland kayaking is the oldest form of kayaking. Dates back all the way to the Bronze Age. And they were in the Arctic Circle. And ironically, in Greenland, there was no trees. So you would think maybe you would make your first kayak out of a tree log, but they didn't have that. They had everything they had washed up on the beach, and they would form their kayaks, and they would wrap them in seal skin and animal skin so that they could creep up on the whales, the narwhals, all the animals that they were hunting back in the day. So essentially, all the modern kayaks stem from sea kayakers. It's all stemmed from the Bronze Age when they were cold and hungry, basically. They had to figure it out. So, Joe, why don't you go ahead and show them your paddle real quick. Look at that. So this is a Greenland-style paddle. This one was actually from Edgewater Surf. He purchased this yesterday. This guy makes these out of pieces of wood. Yep, right over there. These paddles are very buoyant, so they're a lot lighter. This one's carbon fiber. Notice how it's a lot different from a traditional kayak paddle, whereas the blades will be right here. You can use, but look at how buoyant it is. Like, I'm really struggling to push this all the way in the water, but it's as light as a feather. So it's a very, very light one, but it will keep you surfaced. So you want to use this one or that one?
It don't matter.
Okay. So Joe's going to do some side sculls to kind of show you, like, back in then, well, the Inuits were cold. They didn't want to roll all the time, right? They had to figure out ways to not roll. So they learned to use their, they used their paddles that they sculpted in a way to kind of scull their way up so they could prevent themselves from falling over. So go ahead and demonstrate, Joe. Yeah.
Like this size, like sliders from end to end.
That's a good point. You have to be stealthy when you're hunting animals, and they were very smart in how they crafted all their boats, their paddles, all their gear. So side sculling is a way to kind of use the water to your advantage, kind of using it. You can put all your weight on it, and if you find that center of balance, it doesn't matter how far Joe can go down, he's not going to flip over. And he's doing all that with just the power of that really light paddle. It's a very important technique. Now, bracing in modern times, we have the high brace, the low brace, all stems from the skull, because you have to scull the paddle across the water to really feel the resistance to know what you're doing there. So this is a static brace. So Joe's just hanging out over there. He's not even working really hard. He just has his positioning. He's one with the water. He does this all the time. He makes it look very easy, but I can guarantee you it's not that easy. I'm still working on my static brace. Okay, so let's see some chest sculls, Joe. Is this another variation of the skull? This one's a little bit harder. You're using the entire side of the paddle right there up against his chest. He's going to start underwater, but you can see right there the paddle is doing all the work. His body's very calm. He's not freaking out. Very cool technique. He can sit out there as long as he wanted. And he's using the front part of the blade over like this. The farther you go, the more resistance you have. You don't want to expose your shoulders, so notice his arms are still kind of tucked in like this. He's not, extending his shoulders like that. He's keeping it real tight. His posture is very good. His torso is all comprised. Paddle's doing all the work there. It's a lot of balance, too. I mean, you have to really love your boat to be able to do this in your kayak. Very nice, Joe. So let's show them the standard Greenland roll. There's a couple variations of this. The Greenlands the Inuits, they did find out their proper roll techniques. There's a lot of them. There's competition rolls, but this is the standard roll that they went with. Very nice and slow. The technique is very good because they were really developed. They wanted to get out of the water as quick as possible. They didn't want to be up there. Joe's going to do a couple of these for you, kind of demonstrate the power and technique that these ancient people did to give us these kayaks that we have today. So let me check your list. Joe's got a nice list here. Do a storm roll. Yeah, so Joe's going to do a storm roll. This is a variation of the Greenland roll. So you hear that little squeak. He's using the side of his boat. His hands aren't leaving the side of his boat. He's staying very close, very tight. Very nice, Joe. That's where it gets the name storm roll, because you don't want any of that water in your face, so he's keeping his head down. If you have icy water, you want it to run off the front, you don't want to get it all up in your face. So let's show him something cool, Joe. What about a behind the head sweep? So Joe's going to do something cool here. Behind the head, this is also a Greenland roll. They use this in competitions. It's a competition roll. So let's see what he can do here. Nice. Way to do that nice and slow. You probably couldn't have seen it, but that paddle did one straight circle under the water there. It's very impressive. This is the left-handed, so he's on his offside now. Very cool. So there's going to be instances also, then there's in a case of an injury, say you blow your shoulder out or you hurt your hand or one of your hands aren't working so well. So do you want to maybe try a butterfly roll? That one's good for rescues, right? So look how he's not using his one arm. He's got his paddle kind of held in the one way, crossed over. There's his free hand. Very nice. Then he's going to do the left side too. He's got to go on the other side. Awesome. Very nice, Joe. You doing okay? Are you getting tired? Are you okay? He's fine. Joe could do this for hours and not get tired. I always have to check on him though, because I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, see? Awesome. I love that you save your hand rolls for last. Shotgun? Reverse sweep. Okay, yeah, we're going to do a reverse sweep. So this is a regular sweep, but it's going to be on the back side of the boat instead of the front. It's going to look a little weird. I do not know how you do that. He's going to do it on his left hand now, so offside reverse sweep. Everything's backwards. Beautiful. Very nice, Joe. Any other injury rolls that you can think of? Or shotgun, yeah. We can do that. So this one's called the shotgun roll. This one was also helpful when they were hunting with rifles. They could even use their rifle if they didn't want to lose their gun. Yeah, say you take a shot at an animal and it was too much recoil and your boat fell over, and you don't want to lose your gun. That's beautiful. Prefer shotgun, or you want to save that? Save that? Okay. So, we're going to move on here and do some... Yeah, let's do a crooked elbow roll. This is where he crooks it in right there. So if you want to hang on to something. Joe will never lose anything on the river. That is a fact. That's amazing. Guaranteed Joe will never lose anything on the river. That one's a little harder. He was on his opposite hand there. Butterfly, angel, shotgun, we did all that. Angel roll? Okay, let's see an angel roll, Joe. So pretty similar to the butterfly roll, but it's a variation of it. You're up on the front this time. This one's also helpful if you're injured on the river. Injure your arm. He comes up straight. Notice how he comes up front facing and all that water falls off. So in the icy waters of the Arctic Circle, you know, and they have to get up really quick. They don't want all that icy water in their face. They want it to come off the helmet just like so. That's very important for those front facing rolls. Are you trying a left hand? Okay. He's going to try a left hand storm roll. We're going to see what he can do here. Impressive. Very hard to do anything with a paddle with one hand, let alone paddle it or let alone roll a kayak. Like, that's very, very impressive. So let's see, let's do a back deck roll, Joe. We're going to get into some European rolls now. There's going to be European style rolls. This is the back deck roll, also used in modern kayaking for competition. Definitely not practical for icy waters, but if you want to show off a little bit for your friends or expose less of your head, that is also a method to do that. You do expose a little more shoulder, but your head is protected a little bit more because there's less water. You're not tucked in the water. You're closer to the surface. And you can do them left, right. It doesn't really matter. Skull on deck. You want to try a skull on deck? It's going to be tricky with this paddle, but Joe's going to try a skull on deck. Let's see if he can do it. If you need this paddle, just let me know. Yeah, that is a tough one. So what he's doing there is he's trying to use the boat to scully himself back up. The whole purpose of that was like earlier when he was sculling on his side, this time he's upside down, sculling around his boat to resurface. It's a little trickier. He's going to try it with his old faithful paddle. See if he can do it with this one. Impressive when you see that from the upside down to the rear side, because he's literally changing the axis of the boat where the paddle's going around and he's catching the surface at the right time. There's a lot of timing involved in there. There's a lot of calmness, a lot of stability, all into one package. Yeah, we have a GoPro, but that's okay. We got it. Do your paddle upside down. So this is the coolest thing that I've ever seen Joe do in a boat. What he's going to do, he's going to paddle back there, he's going to go underwater, and he's going to try to paddle while he's underwater. See what you can do, Joe. And he's using the paddle he's not used to. He's going to run out of real estate there. Nice. Nice job, Joe. Very nice. You want to do some hand rolls now? Okay, so Joe's a little crazy. He likes to save his hand rolls for last. So he used all his energy on the paddle, and now he's getting rid of the paddle. And he's going to do some cool, just do a couple of standard ones, regular and offside if you can. Let's see, there's a front to back. Yep, front to front. Let's see what he can do. Nice and slow. It's very, very effortless the way he's making it look. I can promise you that it's not that easy to learn a hand roll. But Joe's been doing this a long time. He's really studied the water and done his history, done his homework. I'm very thankful to have him by my side in all of our endeavors. Do a mummy roll. Yep, this is a mummy roll. Kind of like a show-off hand roll. There you go. He's going to do it again on the other side. Very nice. Very nice. You want to do a front to front or like a front-facing one? Is that what that is? Front to front? Yeah, front to front hand roll. So he's going to come up very on the front side of his boat this time, which is very hard because when you're learning, like I said earlier, a roll is easier to learn when you're leaning back. So this is the complete opposite. Comes up right on the front. That's also helpful, like I said, all that water running off the helmet was very important back in the day when they were in those icy rivers trying to survive. To the offside. Awesome. Back deck hand roll. So remember the back deck hand, this is going to be the back deck hand roll. And he came up on this front side. I have to reiterate how hard that is to come up on your front side versus leaning back. And any kind of roll. I mean, C to C you come up on the front side, but most rolls that are easier to lean back, but he makes it look so easy coming up on the front. And it takes practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. It becomes effortless. It's almost like riding a bike. So this is the roll that Joe says he's never seen anybody do. It's called a reverse shotgun, right? Yep. Very complicated maneuver. We're going to see if he can do it. So complete reverse. He's on the back side of his shoulder here. One hand on the paddle. That takes a lot. He's going to try it one more time. He likes to save his biggest ones for last when he's tired and been rolling all day. There you go. Nice. Let's give Joe a round of applause, guys. Working really hard. If you guys have any questions for us, we are right over there. Like I said, Joe and I do a lot of work together. We're just trying to grow our community of kayakers. We don't just do crazy rolls like this. We do a lot of river cleanups. We try to get involved with our community as much as possible. The Keel Hauler organization has been teaming up with us this year as well, so we got a lot of exciting things happening in the spring and summer. If you guys want to get involved, have any questions, a sticker, whatever you'd like, it's right over there in that light blue booth. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. You can mess around if you want to, but that's pretty good for you. Thank you for everybody that tuned in at home. We will see you guys very soon and see you on the river. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.